it for us for now. Thanks for watching World News Tonight with David Muir is next.
We'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock. Have a great night.
Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. Singer R.KELLY sentenced to 30 years in federal prison for child sex trafficking. Several of his accusers facing him in court, the judge calling his abuse calculated and carefully planned for 25 years. Stephanie Ramos standing by. Also developing tonight, the new statement just in tonight from Cassidy Hutchinson, the 26-year-old White House aide who testified before the nation yesterday. What she's saying tonight after her bombshell testimony. Also tonight, a source close to the Secret Service now confirming former President Trump got into the motorcade and wanted to go to the Capitol on January 6th and was irate when they refused. And tonight, the committee now urging other witnesses to come forward and a key figure they would like to hear from. Mary Bruce with late reporting. The war in Ukraine and tonight, NATO's largest expansion in decades. President Biden and NATO leaders formally inviting Finland and Sweden to join the alliance. And tonight, the U.S. now increasing military commitments in Europe, including a permanent presence now in Poland. Vladimir Putin is responding tonight. Cecilia Vega traveling with the president. We're also learning about the 2 American veterans captured while fighting for Ukraine. Tonight, Russian state TV releasing new video, both Americans appearing to be prompted to make certain statements. And what one of the families back here at home is now saying about the State Department, what they're being told about negotiations for their release. Also back here at home tonight, the death toll climbing in what is already the deadliest migrant smuggling incident ever here in the U.S. What authorities are now saying about the suspected driver. Severe weather and the fires tonight, the images just coming in from the west at this hour. And what we're now watching as the holiday weekend nears. 3 tropical systems, 1 in the Gulf already. It will be felt in the U.S. Rob Marciano timing it all out. The frightening scene at Yellowstone, the visitor gored by a bison. We do have late news on Pfizer boosters, the government's new purchase tonight to get boosters ready for this fall. And tonight here, stay tuned, we pay tribute to an American hero.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Wednesday night. Tonight, new fallout after that bombshell testimony, the young woman who testified before the nation 24 hours ago about January 6th. Tonight, her new statement just in. But we do begin tonight with singer R.KELLY, sentenced to 30 years behind bars after his conviction on racketeering and sex trafficking charges. Prosecutors accused him of leading a criminal enterprise of managers, bodyguards, and other employees to recruit and abuse women, underage girls, and a teenage boy. Accusations swirled around him for decades, and authorities believe for years his actions were protected by his fame. Then in 2019, in the TV docuseries Surviving R.KELLY, a number of alleged victims came forward to publicly accuse him of abuse. Arrests followed on charges in Illinois, and in federal court, Kelly held without bail for nearly 3 years now. At today's sentencing, several accusers confronted the former superstar, the judge calling his abuse calculated and carefully planned for 25 years. ABC's Stephanie Ramos leading us off tonight.
After decades of sexual misconduct allegations, tonight, a federal judge in Brooklyn sentenced singer and convicted sexual predator R.KELLY to 30 years in prison.
This is a significant outcome for all victims of R.KELLY, and especially for the survivors who so bravely testified about the horrific and sadistic abuse they endured.
The one-time music superstar faced life behind bars after a jury found him guilty in federal court on 1 count of racketeering and 8 counts of sex trafficking. The trial lasting nearly 6 weeks, with close to 50 witnesses testifying against Kelly, more than half of them alleging abuse, several represented by Gloria Allred.
You've called R.KELLY the worst perpetrator that you've pursued. Why is that?
He recruited fans of his, targeted them, intimidated them, indoctrinated them, threatened them, sexually assaulted them.
Federal authorities looking into the years of accusations after the explosive Lifetime docuseries Surviving R.KELLY, in which dozens of accusers alleged the singer had abused them. Kelly did not testify at his trial. Tonight, one of Kelly's accusers relieved.
I never thought that I would be here to see him be held accountable for the atrocious things that he did to children.
And the legal fight for R. Kelly isn't over. His lawyers say he didn't speak during the hearing today because he still has a pending case in Illinois. His lawyers also say they plan to appeal his verdict today right here in Brooklyn. David.
Stephanie Ramos leading us off here on this Wednesday night. Steph, thank you. We turn next tonight to new fallout after that bombshell testimony before the nation. The 26-year-old former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson before the country a little more than 24 hours ago. Tonight here, a new statement out on her behalf. Her lawyer issuing that statement saying Cassidy Hutchinson stands by everything she said under oath. And tonight, one of the most eye-opening pieces of testimony about that moment in the motorcade, a source close to the Secret Service now confirming that former President Trump got into the motorcade and wanted to go to the Capitol on January 6th and was irate when they refused and told him they were taking him back to the White House instead. Tonight, the committee now urging other witnesses to come forward and one key figure they would really like to hear from. Mary Bruce here with late reporting.
Tonight, shockwaves after that dramatic testimony. The former president and his team not happy, but not challenging some of the core allegations from Cassidy Hutchinson, the former top aide to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. That well before January 6th, Trump planned to go to the Capitol, and that on the morning of the rally, he knew some of his supporters in the crowd were armed, but he wanted security to let them in anyway.
I overheard the president say something to the effect of, you know, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here.
The president then urging his supporters to march to the Capitol, though he knew some were armed. Tonight, a source close to the Secret Service confirming that after the rally, Trump wanted to be taken to the Capitol and was not happy when his protective detail refused. Hutchinson testifying what she was told about what happened.
The president said something to the effect of, I'm the effing president. Take me up to the Capitol now.
There are also remaining questions about the days leading up to the 6th, about players like Michael Flynn, the former national security advisor.
General Flynn, do you believe the violence on January 6th was justified?
Can I get a clarification? Is that a moral question or are you asking a legal question?
I'm asking both.
I said the fifth.
Do you believe the violence on January 6th was justified morally?
Take the fifth.
You believe the violence on January 6th was justified legally?
Fifth.
General Flynn, do you believe in the peaceful transition of power in the United States of America?
The fifth.
The former president now calls Hutchinson a phony, saying he hardly knows her, even though she worked just paces from the Oval Office. The committee is urging others in the Trump White House to come forward. They want to hear from former White House counsel Pat Cipollone, who Hutchinson says was fiercely opposed to Trump going to the Capitol that day.
Mr. Cipollone said something to the effect of, please make sure we don't go up to the Capitol, Cassidy. We're going to get charged with every crime imaginable.
Tonight, Hutchinson saying she stands by every word under oath. Let's get to Mary Bruce live on the Hill. And Mary, the committee now in talks with former Trump White House counsel Pat Cipollone. What are you hearing from your sources about whether he'll testify?
Well, David, tonight we've learned that Pat Cipollone's team and the committee are still talking, but don't expect him to testify publicly as of now. What is possible, according to sources, is that Cipollone could sit for a transcribed interview with the committee. And we're hearing that a subpoena to compel him to speak is still on the table. David.
Mary Bruce live on the Hill for us. Mary, thank you. We turn to the war in Ukraine and major news tonight, that Russian invasion now prompting historic moves at a NATO summit in Madrid. President Biden and other leaders formally inviting Finland and Sweden now to join the alliance. And President Biden increasing U.S. military commitments in Europe, including a permanent presence in Poland. Vladimir Putin responding tonight, and ABC's chief White House correspondent Cecilia Vega traveling with the president in Spain tonight.
With Russia's brutal campaign in Ukraine grinding into its 5th month, NATO today formally inviting Sweden and Finland to join the alliance in the largest expansion in decades, and the U.S. stepping up its military commitments.
We're sending an unmistakable message, in my view, and I think yours as well, that NATO is strong, united.
At the NATO summit in Madrid, President Biden announcing more military power to Europe, including the first permanent military headquarters in Poland, troops to Romania and the Baltics, 2 F-35 stealth fighter squadrons to the UK, and 2 Navy destroyers to Spain.
Article 5 is sacrosanct, and we mean it when we say an attack against one is an attack against all, every inch.
It comes as NATO puts 300,000 troops on high alert in response to Russia's war in Ukraine. Leaders adopting a new mission statement declaring Russia as the most significant and direct threat to the region's stability. Ukraine has yet to be admitted to NATO. President Volodymyr Zelensky addressing members from Kyiv today, asking for more weapons and money, and delivering this warning about the risk to Europe.
Це справжня ціль Росії.
Zelensky asking which countries will Russia come for next? Poland, Moldova, the Baltics? The answer, he warned, could be all of them.
And Vladimir Putin has actually just responded. He says he doesn't really have a problem with Finland or Sweden joining NATO, that in fact he does, though, like he does with the prospect of Ukraine joining this alliance. But tonight, David, he is delivering a warning, and he is not mincing any words. He says if NATO delivers military equipment or troops to these two countries, quote, Moscow would be forced to respond. David.
Cecilia Vega live in Spain for us tonight. Cecilia, thank you. We're also learning more tonight about those 2 American veterans captured while fighting for Ukraine. Russian state TV releasing new video tonight of both Americans, and what one of their families back here at home is now saying the State Department has told them about negotiations for their loved ones' release. Our foreign correspondent James Longman in Ukraine again tonight.
Tonight, Russian state TV releasing new video of Alex Druki and Andy Huynh, the 2 U.S. veterans fighting for Ukraine but caught by Russian proxies. Druki's family told ABC News he's now spoken with the State Department twice in recent days.
They said that he sounded good, that he sounded relatively strong.
The officials felt he was being treated humanely and that the Russian-backed separatists holding him were looking to begin negotiations. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense has released this video, the largest prisoner swap since the war began. 144 Russian troops exchanged for 144 Ukrainians, many of them badly injured. All this as Russia steps up its rocket attacks in the country. Video posted on social media shows a huge missile hitting this apartment building in Mykolaiv. It killed 6 people. Alex Druki's family says the State Department told them they will not negotiate with his captors, and that's because the breakaway region they control isn't recognized by anyone as a legal entity other than Russia. David?
All right, James Longman in Ukraine again tonight. James, thank you. Back here at home tonight, into the growing horror in the deadliest human smuggling case in U.S. history. The death toll growing, and tonight what Mexican authorities are now saying about the suspected driver now in custody. Here's our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, in San Antonio.
The death toll from that migrant smuggling horror continues to rise tonight, up to 53. Over 60 men, women, and children in that trailer where temperatures likely topped 150 degrees. Organ failure begins at 109 degrees.
The truck was removed from this isolated road, but what's left here is the debris from that first aid operation, the effort to try to revive those who were in that truck, and of course, some of the victims' clothes as well.
And authorities say the driver is in custody, and tonight Mexican officials releasing this picture they say shows the driver behind the wheel of that semi-truck, alleging he tried to mix in with the survivors when authorities arrived. Among them, a 23-year-old woman from Guatemala. Commissioner Rebecca Clay Flores met with her.
She said, I really need to let my mom know that I'm okay. Can I call my mom?
Amidst the pile of bodies and survivors in that trailer, first responders remembering that every one of them had a story.
I remember it was blue like an angel, the prayer card. We walked over it numerous times, and that was somebody's possession. And that was something that probably that person held on to until they lost consciousness.
That is, unprecedented numbers of migrants are crossing the southwest border. 68 people apprehended yesterday in Arizona, 58 of them children. Texas Governor Greg Abbott blaming the Biden administration today, saying the federal government must do more.
The Biden administration is not enforcing the immigration laws. It's attracting people and enticing people to make this very dangerous trek, causing them to lose their lives.
But the Bexar County Sheriff, a Democrat, slamming Abbott for politicizing the tragedy, but also telling President Biden, I'm disappointed that a perceived lack of action on the part of the U.S. government has allowed the governor of my state to use this issue as one big campaign stunt. And speaking at a vigil, Jessica Azua was one of those who came to the U.S. in a tractor trailer, making the harrowing journey when she was just 14 years old.
I was lucky that I woke up and that I made it. It's really hard. And I'm so tired that we keep saying that we had been here before, that we have done this before, that we know how to respond to this. It shouldn't have to be that way.
And David, you can see that growing memorial behind me tonight. Like Jessica, there are 11 survivors from that tractor trailer, and U.S. and Mexican authorities revealing that that truck drove through a Customs and Border Protection checkpoint just 3 hours before it was found here on the side of the road. David.
Matt Gupman in Texas again tonight. Thanks, Matt. Next this evening, the fire danger in the west. The images coming in right now, and also 3 tropical systems. We're tracking one already in the Gulf. First, those images late today, the Rices fire burning in Nevada County, California. More than 350 homes in that evacuation zone. And tonight, those 3 tropical systems brewing in the Atlantic. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is here tracking it all for us. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. Our fire weather concerns tonight are in the same spots where we have severe weather in the upper plains. Looking at South Dakota, just east of Rapid City, one of these storms had a wind gust of 90 miles per hour. That watches up until 8 o'clock. All right, lots of activity in the tropics. As you mentioned, 3 disturbances. This one heading into the Caribbean. Our best chances for becoming a tropical storm, that one should head into Central America. The one in the northwestern Gulf of Mexico, obviously closer to home, greater concern. Whether it becomes a named storm or not, it's going to bring heavy rain to southeast Texas from Corpus Christi all the way up through Lake Charles. Now, this area could use some rain, and they just don't want it all at once. Not a half a foot of it. That's likely to cause some flooding. David?
Rob Marciano with us here on a Wednesday night. Thank you, Rob. We turn now to the Supreme Court tonight. Associate Justice Stephen Breyer will officially step down at noon tomorrow. In a letter to President Biden today saying, quote, "It has been my great honor to participate as a judge in the effort to maintain our Constitution and the rule of law." And at that same hour, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson will be sworn in as the 104th Associate Justice and the first black woman on the nation's highest court. ABC News will carry that historic moment live right here. In the meantime, when we come back tonight, late news this evening on Pfizer boosters for millions of Americans. Also late word on Dr. Fauci dealing with a rebound case of COVID. And then the visitor gored by a bison at Yellowstone. We'll be back.
How do you keep your ride looking its best? WeatherTech, of course. Ready-to-wash system works in a snap. Laser-measured floor liners are easy to clean. A seat protector makes cleaning up spills a breeze. And cargo liner makes it easy to wipe away any mess. And Cup Phone always keeps your phone secure. No wonder WeatherTech is liked by all. Shop all of our premium American-made products at WeatherTech.com.
If you have type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, you're a target for chronic kidney disease. You can already have it and not know it. If you have chronic kidney disease, your kidney health could depend on what you do today. Farxiga is a pill that works in the kidneys to help slow the progression of chronic kidney disease. Farxiga can cause serious side effects, including dehydration, urinary tract or genital yeast infections in women and men, and low blood sugar. Ketoacidosis is a serious side effect that may lead to death. A rare, life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop taking Farxiga and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this bacterial infection, an allergic reaction, or ketoacidosis. And don't take it if you are on dialysis. Take aim at chronic kidney disease by talking to your doctor and asking about Farxiga. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Tonight here, there is late word on a new vaccine deal between the U.S. government and Pfizer. The government paying $3.2 billion for 105 million new doses set to arrive before the start of the expected fall surge. Pfizer says if approved by the FDA, the deal will include a new vaccine updated to protect against Omicron and its subvariants. There's also news tonight about Dr. Anthony Fauci. He says he's taking a second course of Paxlovid now after experiencing rebound symptoms after the antiviral treatment when he had COVID not long ago. Dr. Fauci, who is 81, says when he first tested positive 2 weeks ago, he had very minimal symptoms. He said the rebound symptoms were actually worse, but that he now feels reasonably good. We have reported on that happening to others as well. When we come back tonight, the bison attack at Yellowstone, and we remember a hero tonight.
My A1C stayed here. It needed to be here.
Ruby's A1C is down.
with Rybelsus.
My A1C wasn't at goal. Now I'm down with Rybelsus.
Mom's A1C is down with Rybelsus.
A1C down with Rybelsus. In a clinical study, once daily Rybelsus significantly lowered A1C better than a leading branded pill. Rybelsus isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't take Rybelsus if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or if allergic to it. Stop Rybelsus and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Rybelsus with a sulfonylurea or insulin increases low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
Need to get your A1C down?
A1C down. Ask your healthcare provider about Rybelsus today.
I am Robert Strickler. I've been involved in communications in the media for 45 years. I've been taking Prevagen on a regular basis for at least 8 years. For me, the greatest benefit over the years has been that Prevagen seems to help me recall things and also think more clearly. And I enthusiastically recommend Prevagen. It has helped me an awful lot.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
What's going on? It's a farmer's policy perk. Get farmers and you could save money by doing nothing. Just be claim-free on your home insurance for 3 years.
That's really something.
Get a whole lot of something with farmer's policy perks.
Bravo! That's our son!
We should.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
I started smoking when I was 16. Now I have end-stage COPD. My tip is, if you keep smoking, your freedom may only go as far as your oxygen tube.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
How is he still playing?
Aspercream Arthritis. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Don't touch my piano.
Kick pain in the Aspercream.
To the index of other news, and tonight authorities are investigating a bison attack at Yellowstone National Park, the second attack in a month now. Authorities say the victim was walking with his family near Old Faithful when the bison charged. They didn't leave the area, the bison then charging a second time. The victim was injured in the arm. Tonight, park officials say he was too close to the animal. Visitors are required to stay at least 25 yards away from the bison. And the Stanley Cup taking a wrong turn before tomorrow's big celebration in Denver. Thousands expected for tomorrow's parade, celebrating, of course, the champion Colorado Avalanche. The cup, however, getting a little lost along the way. Supposed to be delivered to a player's house. It went to the neighbor's house by mistake. That neighbor opening the case and getting a stunning surprise, saying it was like finding a treasure. They did get the Stanley Cup where it belonged. When we come back here tonight, we pay tribute here to an American hero.
I'm still drawn to what's next, even with higher stroke risk due to AFib not caused by a heart valve problem. So if there's a better treatment than warfarin, that's the trail I want to take. Eliquis. Eliquis reduces stroke risk better than warfarin and has less major bleeding than warfarin. Eliquis has both.
Don't stop taking Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve or have normal bleeding. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. Get help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures.
The #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner. Ask your doctor about Eliquis.
Angie's List is now Angie, and it's easier than ever to get your projects done right. With Angie, you can connect with top pros and see ratings and reviews. And when you book and pay through Angie, you're covered by our happiness guarantee. Check out Angie.com today. Angie, and done.
Age is just a number, and mine's unlisted.
Try Boost High Protein with 20 grams of protein for muscle health versus 16 grams in Ensure High Protein. Boost High Protein also has key nutrients for immune support. Boost High Protein.
For just a little bit more, I can get you unlimited minutes, data, and text, 6 hotspots, concert coupons, cable subscription, dental cleanings.
We need all that?
Do we need all that?
I wouldn't think so. You should use Consumer Cellular. They have everything you need, nothing you don't.
I'll throw in this tiny little fan. Car wash voucher? Light up soap dispenser.
Think you lost? Get the exact same coverage as the nation's leading carriers. All the talk, text, and data you need, starting at $20. Consumer Cellular.
If you have COPD, ask your doctor about Breztri. Breztri gives me better breathing and helps prevent flare-ups. Before Breztri, I was stuck in the past. I still had bad days. Flare-ups, which kept me from doing what I love. My doctor said, for my COPD, it was time for Breztri. Breztri gives you better breathing, symptom improvement, and helps prevent flare-ups. Like no other COPD medicine, Breztri was proven to reduce flare-ups by 52%.
Breztri won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. It is not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Don't take Breztri more than prescribed. Breztri may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur.
Can't afford your medication? AstraZeneca may be able to help. If you have COPD, ask your doctor about Breztri.
I'm Steve. I lost 138 pounds in 9 months on Golo and taking Release. Golo saved my life. I was way overweight, and that's what sent me down the path. Was I wanted to make sure and live for my kid. Plain and simple.
Every killer just might think they're pulling off the perfect crime until, well, it's not. Because what's often hiding in plain sight between four walls is the fatal flaw. The new true crime series premieres Thursday night, July 7 on ABC.
Funny tonight here, America Strong. We learned today America's last living Medal of Honor recipient from World War II has now died. He was an American hero. Tonight, a grateful nation paying tribute to an American hero. Marine Corporal Herschel Woody Williams, the country's last living Medal of Honor recipient from World War II, has now died. Born in Quietdale, West Virginia, Corporal Williams was the son of dairy farmers. Just 21 when he fought in the Battle of Iwo Jima. On the same day that flag was raised, February 23, 1945, Corporal Williams used 6 flamethrowers to take on Japanese forces. Fighting for 4 hours under tremendous enemy fire, he eventually cleared a path for American troops. He received the Medal of Honor from President Truman in 1945.
Don't ask me how I did it. I don't have any idea how I did it. You've got a job to do for which you're trained. You've got to do it for the people around you, for the other Marines, and 2 of them got killed protecting my life. So this medal belongs to them. It really doesn't belong to me.
In the years that followed, Corporal Williams was an advocate for veterans and Gold Star families, making it his duty to connect with future generations. The USS Herschel Woody Williams commissioned in his honor, and Corporal Williams cheered by the crowd at Super Bowl 52 in 2018. Woody with the coin toss.
Ready to go? Yes, sir. And it is ahead. New England, you've won the toss.
This morning, at 98 years old, surrounded by family, Corporal Williams passed away at the VA Medical Center bearing his name in Huntington, West Virginia. Officers leading a procession. And tonight here, Corporal Williams, in his own words, on what changes when you serve your country.
They have a different concept of life. They have a different concept of service and the value of life. All of that changes as a result of being a Marine.
Well, we salute Corporal Herschel Woody Williams tonight, an American hero. Thank you for watching. I'm David Muir from all of us here at ABC News. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
Ready, set, pull! The final straw is a game of gravity versus greed. This show's crazy, right? Let's go. The final straw premieres Sunday.
When it comes to reducing sugar in your family's diet,
the more choices, the better. That's why America's beverage companies are working together to deliver more great tasting options with less sugar or no sugar at all.
in fact, today, nearly 60% of beverages sold contain 0 sugar.
Different sizes? Check.
Clear calorie labels? Just check.
With so many options, it's easier than ever to find the balance that's right for you. More choices?
Less sugar.
BalanceUS.org.
Aging can be hard for all of us, but the LGBTQ community is facing challenges many never considered.
Our support systems have been diminished.
Visit abc7newyork.com to find out how one organization is making sure nobody is left behind. Sponsored by TD Bank.
You know, there's something so relaxing about a backyard built with Cambridge paving stones. Don't you think, boys? First time in my life, Everyone agrees with me. Actually, second, because everyone agrees that Cambridge pavers